Hello, welcome to TVP World Talks. I'm your host, Adam Jasser. We're reporting from Iceland, where several regional leaders from the Arctic and experts meet to discuss security and environmental issues for the region. And I'm joined today by Minister Rebecca Chartrand, Minister for Northern and Arctic Affairs in the Canadian government.
Yes.
Did I get this right?
You got it right.
Thank you. We're delighted to have you. Thank you.
And thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure. Thank you.
So, if I get the tenor of the discussion so far here, the Cold War is back in the Arctic. Is that right or not?
Well, I think the circumstances are much different in some regards. We're definitely, I think the whole world is feeling the geopolitical landscape and how it's affecting each of their own countries. And we're definitely feeling it in northern Canada, in the Arctic, which is likely why we've created the Northern and Arctic Affairs Ministry, which I'm overseeing.
So what is on your mind most of the time when you deal with these issues? Is it hard security? Is it climate change? What is it? What's at the top of your agenda?
Well, I think the obvious is that, we want to understand our vulnerabilities, but we also want to understand our opportunities. And
but
so
that's a sort of gentle way of saying it. What's beneath those?
Okay, so if you want to dig a little deeper, I think, in terms of the work that we're doing collectively as a government, we are looking to secure our northern and Arctic borders. And we're doing that through pragmatic diplomacy. So we're looking also to work collaboratively and in partnership with other Arctic states. As you've seen, our Prime Minister has been visiting a number of other countries and strengthening those relationships that we already have in place. But more importantly, we want to demonstrate our leadership. I think Canada has been built on very strong values that continue to lead how we move forward with other countries. And more importantly, we want to ensure that we're being inclusive. So by inclusivity, I mean we want to ensure that we're not creating Arctic policy from a southern perspective. We're doing that in partnership with northern and Indigenous peoples.
But this is all understood, but there's a lot of talk about hard security issues. Should Greenland be reinforced militarily? Should there be more NATO presence in Iceland? Should there be more surveillance of, hybrid threats from Russia and possibly even China? So, cooperation is all very nice, and I understand the reasons why Nordic countries want to preserve that, but the reality seems to be moving away from that.
Yeah, we're moving as quick as we can. Like we're already moving forward on some of our Nanook operations, which are inviting other countries to participate us in military readiness. We're working with Finland. We signed a joint strategic security partnership with them to move forward in building icebreakers together. And we've purchased, a Canadian company has purchased one of the shipping yards in Finland that was previously owned by a Russian company. So these are just some small examples of what we're doing. We're also building up our NOSH sites. So our NOSH are our National Northern Operating Security Hubs. So we're going to be setting up 3 in the North and the Arctic. And we're looking at possibly setting up more. We're looking at advancing recruitment for our Canadian Armed Forces. We're looking at a potential target of 7,000 per year, starting, this year. So we will see some huge advancements in terms of asserting ourselves in the North and the Arctic.
So I have 2 questions. Is Canada going to, let's say, increase its assets, its military assets in the Arctic in any kind of format, be it NATO or some other? And second, we just saw the United States sign a deal with Finland about building new icebreakers. Are you going to be part of this initiative?
Yes, as far as my understanding is we are part of that initiative.
You're already part of it?
Yes, we are already part of an initiative with Finland to build those icebreakers. So we also have partnerships with other countries to help build up some of our military and other military supplies that we need.
And when it comes to military assets, contributing military assets to, let's say, patrolling the Arctic or beefing up the presence in Greenland?
Yeah, so we are looking at modernizing NORAD. So that is
NORAD is the North
Yeah, it's
Command.
the North Aerospace defense system. So we're basically, it's above the horizon. It's the early radar detection. So we're looking at, detecting, deferring, defending.
And that's a U.S. Canada initiative.
Yeah, that's part of that collaboration with the U.S. It has existed for some time. So we are definitely looking at modernizing that and ensuring that Canada is well positioned in that modernization. We're also working with other countries to build up our military and all of the different supports that we need to enhance our military. So whether that's with Australia or Finland or some of the other Arctic states, definitely I don't want to speak out of turn, but we are looking to major investments to ensure that we're well supported and securing our Arctic borders.
And what impact on this comes from some tensions between Canada and US regarding trade and some other issues? We know the famous pronouncement by Mr. Trump that he would like to annex Canada.
Yeah.
Can you separate these two issues, or is there some transmission from, let's say, not so great diplomatic relations on the top level translating to problems on the ground in the Arctic?
Well, I think many countries have been affected by the tariffs that have been implemented to their countries. We continue to work with the U.S. on shared priorities. The U.S. is an Arctic country as well, and so we are neighbors in the north, and there's kinships that cross those borders as well as supply chains that go both ways. So we're well aware of that. There's an established relationship there, and once again, we're open to working with the U.S. on shared priorities.
So no impact so far on here?
In regards to what?
In regards to some of the military cooperation you mentioned, but also joint initiative when it comes to environment. We know the US is at the moment a little more skeptical about climate change than, let's say, Canada and some other Arctic nations. So what's the impact of all this on the region here?
Yeah, so we're working with like-minded countries that share the same values. So we've been doing some work with Finland in terms of Operation Nanook. That means we're inviting people over, or vice versa, just on military readiness. We're also open to working with the Nordic 5 in any way we can to ensure that that we're working collaboratively in terms of readiness, preparation, in the work that we need to do to ensure that collectively we're working together to secure our Arctic.
Okay. Well, several comments we heard today from people who spoke to us was that President Trump actually woke up the Arctic nations to all sorts of security and environmental threats as well, and that in fact, he did a good service, even if people didn't like the way he said some of the messages. At the end of the day, there is new sense of purpose here in the region. Do you share that assessment?
Yeah, I do. I think, what I do share in is I really appreciate how Arctic countries are working together collaboratively, because I think we have a lot of the same interests as well as a lot of the same challenges. We are, again, we border the Arctic Circle, which is why we're here, and it allows us to work collaboratively and gain insight from what each nation is doing and how we move forward collectively. And it's not only working with the Arctic Circle, but working through NATO, the avenue of NATO, the G7, the Nordic 5. I think there's many commonalities and spaces in which we can work together.
You're being very diplomatic, but let me ask you this. Okay. Initially, all the pronouncements from the Trump administration about Greenland, about Arctic, seem to be a bit confrontational. But it seems to me that now there is much more collaboration again, and we see this via Greenland example. This initiative, although the US couldn't participate because of the government shutdown, but nevertheless they were supposed to be here and sharing all these experiences. So in other words, is the Western alliance in the Arctic back on track?
I would say that our recent our Prime Minister's recent visit to the U.S. is a signal that we're open to working with the U.S.
Well, I bet you are, but does it translate into real action?
To a re-election.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. In terms of a re-election, I mean, I'm assuming you're focusing on,
Canada, U.S.
Canada,
Arctic,
Canada,
yeah.
U.S. Yeah. Well, I think there's some obvious challenges there, but at the same time, Canada is, in terms of its tariffs, like we do have the best tariff deals with the U.S. compared to other countries. And that, I believe, is a result of the work that our Prime Minister is doing. He's consistently putting pressure on, he's leaving the door open for those communications, with the President of the United States. And I think he's doing a fantastic job. I think he...
Your Prime Minister?
Yeah, my Prime Minister is doing a fantastic job. He's very focused, and again, he's open to working with the United States on shared interests, and if that means, protecting our Arctic borders collaboratively with Alaska, there's always possibilities there. But of course, we're still in negotiations, so it's too soon to say.
So when you're looking at the risks here in the Arctic, what is, in your opinion, the top risk here? Is it hard security? Is it environmental? What is it?
I think the biggest risk is the increased militarization that we're seeing around the world, the increased interest in the North as the new frontier, the increased interest of the shadow fleets that we're seeing coming through the Atlantic and the Northwest Passage. And because we share in those concerns with the Nordic Five, that's why those conversations are really important as we see ourselves working together collaboratively to address those issues. So that works for us and it works for them, and I think we're doing a great job addressing those issues.
Have you noticed any increased activity, hostile activity or hybrid activity that would be similar to what some of the northern European countries have seen in the Baltic Sea?
Yeah.
In the Arctic, or is it still?
Yeah, we are seeing increased activity in the Northwest Passage, but it's our first line of defense that's recognizing that as well, and that would be the Inuit people that live up there. Okay. So that's why it's really important to us when we think about securing our north that we're working hand in hand with the people that live there, because they're the first responders.
How do they see this?
Well,
do they see their world changing or under threat?
Yeah, well, they see, with increased activity, they're curious, they know what's happening globally, and they want to ensure that we're informed, but that they're also a part of solutions, because they're also looking at protecting their interests as well, right? As Northern and Arctic peoples. So that's where I see the collaboration between, our government and Northern Indigenous peoples as a vital one, and it's also necessary because, there are modern treaties, and we have to work with the North.
Minister, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for watching World Talks. I'm Adam Jasser. See you soon.